I just knew that this was the right decision. That will happen hopefully in December.
So we're planning on having 10 kids.
Oh my God, we're going again.
We're going again. Are you ready to post it?
I'm ready to post it.
Release it to the world?
Release it to the world.
Here we go!
Ladies and gentlemen, her.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm very excited, darling.
This video has been a month in the making, and we've been dying to tell you, but it's not been the right time, but now is the right time.
But now is the right time because our, can I say?
Yeah.
Our surrogate has officially today got medical clearance, which is really exciting. But what we want to do on this video is kind of like talk you through the past, how many months it's been.
I'd say it's been the last 10, 11 months. Pretty
Yeah.
much since a month after Ria came, we were like, right, okay, let's start thinking about baby number 2.
How we found our surrogate, how we had to go again with our egg donor.
Yeah.
Like all of these different things that kind of like built us up to this point right now.
I'm sure you've got loads of questions running through your head, so hopefully this video will cover all of those things. But before we get started, thank you so much for tuning into our channel. I'm Francis.
And I'm Stuart.
We are 2 dads to a lovely boy called Rio who's absolutely changed our life. If you love the kind of content we put on our channel, please like and subscribe.
And if you don't, please do it anyway.
We love the
Just
likes.
teasing.
So let's take them through. I think the right thing to do is go chronologically because it makes sense. So Rio came, Rio was born. I'll ask you this question. Why only a few months after he was born were we already thinking about baby number 2?
I think because we were really set on having 2 children close together. Like, I feel like growing up, there's an 8-year gap between me and my sister, and I kind of like missed out on having like a sister that was like we're in this together kind of feeling. And so I really, when we were family planning, I really wanted to either have twins or 2 children really close together because I just felt like we could be like a proper unit in that way.
And of course, because we're having a baby through surrogacy, there are so many moving parts, so we had to consider things straight away. But the main thing that was kind of hanging over us was that the person who's not the biological father of Rio, they will be the biological father of baby number 2, which is always an important thing to do for us. That person didn't have any embryos left, so we had to create new embryos. So we had 1 embryo left, but it wasn't viable. It wasn't a strong enough embryo to basically, and the IVF doctors in the US are incredible, and they want to give you the best chances. So
the sperm was already over in America. So they literally,
that's 2020 sperm.
That's 2020 sperm that was frozen.
That's amazing, isn't it? In September in 2020. Still
in Spain. So that was already frozen, waiting to go in America. And so we knew we had to go with our egg donor again. And the reason we wanted to go really quickly with our egg donor is because you just never know what happens in someone's life. Like, this girl is 24, 25.
Yeah.
She could get a new boyfriend and decide, actually, I don't want to do it again. Or he could say to her, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And kind of like make her think she's changed her mind. And one of the things we really wanted to do was to have the same biological egg donor, so they have a real genetic connection. So that was really important to us. So as soon as we knew that we were going again, we had to call the doctor, well, actually call the egg donor agency and say, listen, we really want to go again with the same egg donor. Would she be open for it? And they said yes. And so we were so relieved and so happy. So we really went quick with that process and made that happen straight away.
And the thing with it was a bit of a financial blow because that bit is really expensive, and obviously you just have a new baby and having to go again. So that was kind of a tight squeeze for us, but we just knew if we didn't take this opportunity now, then we could potentially miss that. But like Stuart said, she was happy to do it again. And I think, when did she actually do the embryo?
That was in February this year.
Wow, gosh.
Ages ago.
Yeah, so by February we already had
10.
No, we had loads of eggs this time. We had so many more eggs.
Oh yeah, she
this
produced.
Time.
How many did she produce? Remember, like 30?
I don't know, but it was a lot of eggs. And so how the process goes, what they do is they extract the eggs, and legally the eggs are then ours. That straight away we own those eggs, and then they put the sperm of the dad into the eggs, and then you get updates for the next 7 days on how the embryos are developing. Some develop really strongly, some obviously don't develop into a viable embryo. By blastocyst, something like that.
It's all these funny names.
It was quite tense because last time obviously we did it half and half with our sperm, and This time, literally, it was like we
had nowhere near the amount of eggs last time as what we had this time.
So she must have responded really well to, as in she'd been through it before, really well to the treatment, and we had loads of great embryos, which was a good relief.
There was 10.
10,
It's just incredible.
10 amazing embryos. So we're planning on having 10 kids.
Jokes.
So then the embryos were ready, they're frozen, ready for us to go. So the next thing to obviously think about is a surrogate. So our beautiful friend Sam was our surrogate for Rio, and often people ask, would she do it again? But I think, obviously, it was a big deal for her, 9 months, 10 months.
Having a baby for somebody else that's not you, there's all kinds of massive things that go on in your head, I'm sure. Yeah. And she did so well. It's
incredible.
Gave us the best gift ever. So we were never like, Sam, please do it again for us. We were just like, if you don't want to do it again, that's actually, I really want you just to be happy. That's my main priority in life, is to make people happier when they leave me, because they love us so much.
Yeah, and I think we didn't assume that she would do it again, but I think she did communicate to you that she.
Yeah. At the beginning, she said, "I would definitely do it again." But then also, I said to her in that moment, I was like, "Just have this baby first, and see how you feel, because you just don't know what 9 months of carrying a baby will."
Yeah, and if you've been following our journey, we actually put 2 embryos into Sam, so we could have had twins. But I'm actually so glad that we didn't, because.
It's been nice to have this moment
with Rio. So then we have these embryos ready in the USA, ready to go again, and it's about finding the surrogate. So this was a big set of decisions for us, really.
Can we just talk just really quickly, because people are going to ask, why don't you just do it in the UK? Why do you not do the egg donor process in the UK?
Well, originally, again, we did, for the first baby, we did it in the USA. So we wanted to use the same egg donor. We wanted to use the same doctor. We were already kind of in that process with them, so we kept doing it with it. There's all other reasons why we chose to do the USA for that bit. Transparency, you get to see your egg donor. It's much more transparent. Whereas in the UK, it's all anonymous. That's something we didn't really want to do. So finding the surrogate. So this is like a minefield of things to do. You can go through a surrogacy agency, which that doesn't exist in the UK, but we could have gone back to the USA. Finding a surrogate again in the UK, there's loads of different ways of doing that. So we decided actually that we had such a great experience in the UK that we wanted to try it in the UK again. So initially we started looking into how do you match with a surrogate, and
in the UK.
Yeah. And there's these different Facebook groups of intended parents, or IPs they call them, and people that potentially want to be surrogates, and then it's a process where you can essentially get to know them over a period of months and see if it's a match. So we did look into that, didn't we?
We did look into it, and we went on to there's Facebook groups called Missing Pieces, and so we went onto them and we introduced ourselves onto the Facebook groups, and then you basically just it's kind of like dating, I suppose.
Yeah.
You just the thing is, on these Facebook groups, you can't say, "Oh, hi, I'm looking for a surrogate, would you be my surrogate?" Because that's against the law in the UK. Yeah. So you just have to put your name out there and then start chatting to people, and then hope that surrogate will say to you, "I'd like to be your surrogate." So that's just, it just didn't work.
I really think that law should change, don't you think? Because I just feel like it just makes it all a bit secretive almost. So you think, I don't know.
And the thing is, in the UK right now, I should imagine from what I saw on the Facebook groups that there is far less surrogates around than there are intended parents. No, that's right.
Yeah.
So there's
actually a lack of surrogates.
There's a lack of surrogates right now, of course, because they don't get financially compensated, and they're doing it out of the love of their heart, and doing it for someone you don't know maybe might be a little bit of it on the scary side, maybe, I don't know.
And when you say it like that, it makes me go, freaking hell, what Sam did for us is incredible.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Gosh. Especially as you get to know your son, he's the most incredible person ever. It's just reconnecting it back to that is just the most magical thing.
So we went on these Facebook groups, and I definitely did a lot of research on these Facebook groups, trying to find out what this is all about, and there's lots of different meetings. So if you don't know someone to be your surrogate, you can go to lots of different events and different meetings, and I think that's probably where you most likely be able to connect with people, is by going to those meetings. We never actually went to any of those meetings in the end, but
and that's a really important thing. If you're looking into surrogacy, it's just that relationship is so important. The relationship we had with Sam, because we've been friends for years, it's so important. You wouldn't want to jump in straight away with anyone.
But what actually happened is that via TikTok and via Instagram, people actually messaged us and said, "Listen, I'd love to be considered as your surrogate." So we were like, oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So we actually started having like Zoom conversations with people.
Yeah.
And just kind of like figuring out who was right. We really wanted just to find the perfect match because we really wanted to have this whole experience be like magical, like the last one was. So that was really important to us. And then what happened was then later, I'd say that's about July time.
Yeah, it was in the summer.
We kind of like set on a surrogate. So we were like, right, we don't know this girl, which could be a bit strange and scary, but we really like her. She's a really lovely person, and we think that she'd be right to carry our next baby. So
we met her with her and her partner, her husband.
They were amazing.
And her kids, and they were such an amazing family. Actually, my mum was here when they came over the first time, and like we just instantly felt like safe in her presence, and it was just a really nice.
And her husband as well.
Yeah, amazing. So we actually ended up having a few meetings with this family.
Because you want to just really get to know this person, so we met them a few times and kind of like just started I suppose the dating process of getting to know each other.
And then we actually started to go through the process with our doctors in the USA. So there's a whole thing which is called medical clearance, where they have to go through all these different tests to check their viability to be a surrogate, I suppose, if that's the right language.
She never actually did any tests.
No.
It was just like the very start.
She sent off her kind of forms, her kind of pregnancy notes and stuff like that. And then we had a bit of a curveball because, well, you explain.
Well, I got a message from one of my friends who I've known for around about, let's say, 5 years, and I loved her. Like, we haven't spoken, one of those friendships where you don't speak for a while, but yeah, she was such a nice girl, and I really, really, really liked her. And she messaged me on Instagram and said, listen, I don't know if you're still looking for a surrogate, but I would actually love to be your surrogate. And I could not get this girl out of my mind. It was like the same situation that happened last time as well, where I just knew that this was the right decision, and I felt terrible because we're all about girl power and we're all about empowering women and making women and people in general feel amazing, and I felt really, really bad for the other surrogate because I didn't want to let her down and make her upset, or maybe like, I don't know, I just felt bad on her that we hadn't followed through. But when Carly said, I would love to be your surrogate, I was like, she's the one. I just, in my gut, in my heart, knew it. And the reasons why I think that we decided on Carly in the end is because we knew her as a friend well before this even came up. And I think that's really important. Like, we knew her as a person. Yeah. And I just felt it was right. She had the same energy as Sam. She was really kind of just like calm and makes us feel safe. And so we had to let the other surrogate down. And so as soon as I decided that we were going to go with Carly, which was pretty...
Yeah, and I knew Carly, but didn't know Carly as well as Stuart did. And I ended up, we got on a FaceTime with her, and I knew literally within the first few seconds, I was like, yeah, she's 100% the right person. So then, unfortunately, we let the other girl down.
And just so you all know, because it's like a breakup, is that I actually called her straight away because I didn't want there to be like text messages and make anyone feel awkward. So I called her and just explained the full situation to make her feel like it actually wasn't anything to do with her whatsoever. Like, she was amazing, and I'm hoping that we've obviously linked her up to another gay couple that could be possibly...
Yeah, so that could... We've basically introduced her to some other gay parents that we know that want to do another journey, and hopefully she might...
keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope she might be a surrogate for them. So I feel like it's meant to be.
But let's talk about Carly.
Yeah, so Carly, she is just an incredible person. Obviously, I know what Sam went through, but I get the same vibe. She's got an amazing family. She's got 3 boys already, so she's had 3 babies. I think they're about 4, 5, 7, and 10. She's got an amazing husband.
We love her husband.
And it's just like we actually went to meet them for the first time. So because I was unsure, because I was like, have I actually met her? Because Stuart really knew her. And I was like, have I actually really met her? And I had met her, but it was just in passing. And I just felt instantly like, it was so fun. We went to a town near us, and it was just chaos.
It was
like so much fun chaos. They had their dog, we had our dog, Rio was there, and then we went out for some dinner, and then all the kids were sat around the table with Rio, who was having the best time.
He was
just like
loving it. He was sat at the kids' table just having dinner with all the boys.
It was just amazing. I just think, you know what, like, of course we can't have a baby naturally, but I actually really love this process that we get to like involve another family in our journey. And you know, Craig and Sam and their kids, Lacey and Corey, are so attached to our family still, and they will always be
so much.
They will always be part of us. And I just love that we're adding another family into that mix. And it's actually Rio's birthday coming up this month or November, and they're going to meet, which is kind of cool. Hopefully Sam says nice things about us. But yeah, so the next thing happened, the next process to do was to start the medical clearance process with the US.
And this takes
Ever.
time. This takes a long time, because the same thing happened with Sam. Basically, there are the American system, they just need a lot of information and stuff that doesn't relate to the UK at all.
Yeah, certain tests that maybe they wouldn't do in the UK.
There was like an antibody test, and they needed an antibody, and they were like, what antibodies? And they were like, we want a full antibody. And we're like, well, we don't do full antibodies in the UK, we only do select ones. Which ones do you want? And they were like, well, we want all of them. We're like, we don't do that. So we had to really kind of like make sure that we had. The good thing about San Diego Fertility Centre, which is where we work, is that they actually have a base here in the UK with a lady who was amazing. Yeah. We didn't have this last time. This time she really, really supported us, and it was just the best. She got us in with the doctors here in the UK, a special like fertility centre in London. So we took Carly there, and they forgot to do some of her tests. This clinic, I feel like, is a little bit higgledy-piggledy.
And the annoying thing is that Carly lives like
in Nottingham,
3 hours away from us, so she had to drive back down again, basically, for this one bit of blood test. And I have no idea about science and stuff, so I'm like, why couldn't they just use the same blood that they took?
I know, she was trying to do it with her doctor, and the doctor was just like, we don't do this test here in the UK, and we're like, well, we do, because it's just, it's just a lot. So trying to get all of the tests that America needs for you to pass the medical clearance is a lot.
It's a lot.
And so,
but finally we got the email last night. It's
yeah,
like
so we literally got the email last night. And so when did we start that process? I feel like that was like months ago.
It was
now.
like August.
Yeah.
August, September, October. So we're talking about...
Yeah, because I really wanted to do the transfer in October, didn't I?
Yeah. So she's now medically cleared. So let's talk about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, so medical clearance is a big tick, and so the next thing that happens that the doctors need, that the US doctors need to tick off, is the legal process. So in the UK, nothing stands. Like if the surrogate wants to, as the law stands in this moment, if the surrogate wants to keep the baby, she can. I think that's everyone's fear here in the UK, that you go through this whole process and the surrogate wants to keep the baby. But from what we've learned, the surrogate goes into this knowing she does not want another baby, and that she wants to be able to help another family have a baby. So I know that will not be the case with Carly.
And we're hoping that law will change. Like
the
lawyer that we worked with for the parental order for Rio, she was posting about it yesterday. So we're hoping that law will change by the time baby number 2 is born.
But we have to do the medical clearance. So we basically will sign a contract with Carly to say, you know, if different things happen, whatever. Yeah. But again, they just need it for a tick box in the US, but again, it doesn't apply here. Once that's done, then we basically book our tickets to San Diego. We're all going to San Diego and fly there for 3 days, and we'll start the process here in the UK. So she'll start taking her meds next month, and then she will then, and meds mean basically the pill.
The doctor, can then choose
the right dates to do the embryo
transfer. So
that will happen hopefully
in
December.
So
during our Vlogmas.
If you don't know already, we are doing Vlogmas this year, which means we're vlogging every day in December. Which, I mean, this just adds to it. It just makes it so much extra. I'm so excited.
So excited.
We were just talking about, so hopefully, fingers crossed, like everything works. The chances with the doctors in the US, because it's healthy embryo, healthy, surrogate. And what I mean by that is because, we're not coming to IVF because we have fertility problems. We're just coming to IVF because we can't have a baby together. So the chances should be very high.
You said like 87%, didn't you?
Yeah, so we're really hoping. So it could mean by September 2023, we have 2 babies in this house.
That will be chaotic.
We were just talking about it because Rio loves other kids. He is going to love being a big brother.
Yeah, he will.
But I mean, how are we going to do 2 yet? I have no idea. If you've got any tips, let us know, because you can put them in the comments below. But yeah, so we've got a really exciting
few months
ahead, and I just can't believe we're at this
and nerve-wracking. I
Yeah.
remember being at the hospital with Carly and going through her test that she had to do. Actually, interestingly, going back to her test, we actually had to do for her whole test, she had to do a full body.
She had to go to a GP who basically had to do like a physical examination. It's just like, you're fine to get pregnant, basically, which is not...
You're not taking drugs, there's no... You're not self-harming, all that kind of stuff.
And quite interestingly, so
which we paid for, obviously.
Yeah, so we're paying for the service, and it was like a top GP, you could say.
It was in Knightsbridge.
So they've got a good address, basically. And obviously the American clinic hired them, or chose them. And Carly went into this appointment, and then the GP ended up trying to convince her not to be a surrogate.
She said things like, I've had 3 kids and I couldn't imagine having another one.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to be a surrogate?
Yeah.
And obviously that was not part of her job.
No.
She really was trying to enforce that Carly was making a bad decision.
Yeah, her job was not about the decision to be a surrogate. Her job was whether she could be a surrogate, whether she was healthy to be a surrogate, which the answer was yes.
Because also with the US, you have to have a mental examination to make sure. So that's a different section.
Yeah.
She was not doing her job. She was trying to convince Carly not to be a surrogate, and so she came out of that experience and being like,
she was a bit kind of fluffed by it all. But the thing Carly said, I was a bit annoyed, I must admit, because that was not her job. Her job is not to tell her opinion. She's obviously not educated about the process. The fact that she said that she's had 3 kids, she couldn't imagine doing it. Well, my darling, you've had 3 kids. Lucky you.
I know.
There are so many people who can't have kids. If it's about a gay couple, whatever, I don't care. But there are heterosexual couples that have surrogates who can't have kids, and it is the most beautiful thing, and that's why we're here. So that's my anger out the way. But then I kind of was quite glad that it happened, because Carly came out more convinced that she was doing the right thing. And we didn't want Carly, if Carly was very affected by it and it made her really question, then maybe it wasn't the right thing for her to do. So, we understand there are challenges, there is place for education still, and that's why we're here, that's why we're telling our story. And just to let you know, Carly is open to this as well. We will be taking you through the whole journey of baby number 2, the ups and the downs, because we want to be transparent about the process. But hopefully, if you don't know about Ria's process, go back and look at our YouTube videos. It is what she is doing, and not just her family, and then the doctors, the whole army of people, our family, what they're doing to help us have a baby is the most beautiful thing. And I really hope that that's what people get and learn about surrogacy, because it is.
But what I felt like when I was in the doctor's surgery, I really felt this sense of tiny little bit of anxiety. And I remember that feeling from the first going through Rio as well. I spent a lot of time feeling because this is not about me and Francis, although it is in the end, but the actual, you're constantly thinking about a third person in your relationship that isn't us. If it was me having the baby, I'd know that I'd be fine, I could but it's me, Francis, and the third person, and her husband, and keeping everybody happy and making sure everyone's having a really good experience. And that, I had that feeling all over again of
because it is a difficult thing. That is a difficult thing, because we provide the sperm and then we basically step back, and it's of course we provide more than that, but this responsibility to make sure that they're looked after and
having a good my main focus is I want them all to come away from this surrogacy experience and being that was amazing. I have just had the best 9 months ever, and I'm so grateful to you too.
But we've also had this conversation with Carly about being transparent with each other. If you don't want to do something, if you don't want to say, just to be honest, because we would just we want communication at all times. That's really important. And I think the only times where there could be problems is when you don't communicate. But we were so open with Sam.
She said when she gives birth very quickly.
Yeah.
When she gives birth, don't touch me.
I won't be touching you anyway.
But she's like, I just go into my warrior mode and like, don't touch me.
I get it.
She will shout. And I felt like Liz.
But we are just like so excited about bringing another baby into the world.
I actually feel like I've got a sweat patch.
I know.
You just talking about
I actually don't.
I feel really hot.
Oh my god, don't worry, darling. You'll be fine. You'll be great.
Just talking about it, I'm just like, oh my god, we're going again.
We're going again. It is happening. We are having another baby. But yeah, that's kind of that's an update to where we are.
And that's the reason why we said we're going again, and then it's taken months and months and months. It's not us just dragging our heels. It's just been a lot of medical clearance to do, and changing surrogate before we did the medical clearance as well. Added time on as well.
Yeah. But I feel like we're in a really good place. I feel good about it, and I'm reminded about the lesson that we were both taught in journey number 1 is you have to let go at some point. Like, you cannot control everything. Like, going to San Diego, let's just have a good time.
It's the logistics side of things now is the only thing we can control.
Yeah.
Making sure Kylie gets there on time, making sure she's comfortable, making sure she's happy, making sure that this whole experience takes the right drugs. Because that's a lot. Making sure that she is like, when you start taking the drugs, you also then start crying. Don't you remember Sam? Last time she started like 2 days before doing the injections, and then she was just literally like, I'm just so happy that I'm doing this.
I can't wait to hand him over. I keep focused on that moment. But
oh God, I've got a tight back already.
We're just so glad that you're here. You're sharing this journey with us, and I'm excited for this next few months. And
let's book those flights. Let's book that hotel.
Yeah,
we're going to San Diego not next month, the month after.
Oh my goodness. That's an update for us. If there's anything that you feel like we haven't talked about or haven't answered, please comment and put your questions in the comments.
And we'll answer them in the questions.
We'll make sure we answer them.
That's a roundup of what's happened over the past 10 months.
And the next thing to do is obviously to introduce you to Carly, which I'm really excited about because I know you're just going to love. Thank you so much for watching right through to the end. And please, if you haven't done it already, like and subscribe to our channel. You are going to be blown away by the content we're going to bring you over the next few months, particularly with Vlogmas. Can you imagine a video like this every single day?
Well, better than this. We're going all out.
All out.
Let's get the drones.
Let's get the drones. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Mwah.
Speak to you soon. Bye.
So this was quite an important day, the first time we're going to meet our surrogate for baby number 2 and her family. Carly is a friend we've known for a few years, but meeting her now knowing that she will carry her next baby is really a special thing. We felt instantly calm in their presence, and I just love how her kids were so obsessed with Rio, and likewise Rio was for them. It takes an army of people to bring our baby into the world, and like Sam, Craig and their family embraced us with Rio's journey, it really is an amazing thing watching Carly's family do the same. I hope by us sharing our story, people really get to understand what a phenomenal thing surrogacy really is, how it brings families together, and it's the purest reflection of love. As we embark on this next journey, it will involve a really close relationship between us and Carly and her family. And at the top of our priorities is making sure Carly is looked after, supported, and has a great experience. We just feel so calm in her presence and feel so lucky that she's offered to do the most selfless of acts and bring our child into the world. And now next, our journey really begins.